My fellow Americans, as you are painfully aware, it is time to pay homage to your government by filing your 1040 forms again and signing under the penalties of perjury. You may, however, not be aware that in 1976, Congress enacted legislation that struck out the provisions for signing under oath, and this legislation specifically removed the verbiage under penalties of perjury. So you rightfully may also ask, why are we led to believe we have to sign 1040 forms under penalties of perjury? The answer is that you don't, as hard as it may be for you to believe. You also might not believe that you can question the authorities who tax you. But you can. And this year's tax time is coming so rapidly that you may not have time for this kind of a paradigm shift. However, I would like to plant the seeds of liberty and responsibility into your hearts and minds. You see, it is your responsibility to be sure your public servants are obeying their duties. Yes, your public servants at the IRS are duty-bound to answer questions and provide their masters, the public, with information when requested through the Freedom of Information Act. It's time for you to ask for your AMDISA file and the assessment that makes you liable for the taxes you think you owe that makes them duty-bound to provide this. These are times that are calling for the patriotism of this entire nation. So let us take our 1040 forms and scratch through the penalties of perjury clause. Take the money we presume that we owe and buy an interest-bearing U.S. savings bond. Then we shall be forthright and attach a request for our local IRS director and commissioner to specify from the Internal Revenue Code where it is that the labor of our hands or our particular occupational earnings are identified as being a revenue taxable activity. After the duly authorized public servant has identified the statutory basis on which your particular occupation is deemed to be a revenue taxable activity, then he or she is duty-bound to sign this statement under the same penalties of perjury, at which time you will gladly sign over your U.S. savings bond. But until such time, I suggest you keep your savings bond with the certified receipt noted on the letter from which you request the character of your liability from the IRS Area Director and the IRS Commissioner. One by one, we can buy back our country's debt from foreign nations with our own hard-earned money. We must determine not to let the fear of repercussion intimidate us,